When furunculosis, a much more serious disease, strikes on a fish farm, the salmon have to be treated with antibiotics in their food. It's a disease and a treatment which greatly troubles fish farmers like Ian Anderson.
Have you lost a lot of fish from furunculosis in particular and from disease?
Yes, furunculosis has probably been the major problem, very often exacerbated by sea lice problems. I think most of us would be a very lucky Scottish salmon farmer who's not lost at one time or another substantial quantities of stock to furunculosis. More often than not, it reaches epidemic proportion. You could lose 40%, 50%, 80% of your stock. If you don't treat, then antibiotics are the means whereby we have to treat. But we are only licensed to use 4 antibiotics, and there's always the problem of disease resistance building up. By and large, it has been the practice in the past not to treat prophylactically, i.e., if the animal does not show clinical signs of disease, if they're not dying in front of your eyes, don't treat them with antibiotics. That's been a view that I for one, tended to hold for a number of years. I've now come to the conclusion that under certain circumstances, the prophylactic treatment is advisable, if only for the fact that then one can minimize, usually because you're then treating fish before they have become ill, usually when they are smaller, that there may be sound grounds for treating fish perhaps just before they go to sea or just after they've gone to sea, using relatively small amounts of antibiotic, giving, if you like, fish that get a good start in the marine environment and then do not require further treatment with necessarily larger amounts of antibiotic because you treat relative to the body weight of the fish.
After treatment, a withdrawal period is enforced on salmon farms. The flesh of the fish should be free of antibiotics by the time the salmon reaches the table. But to achieve the required color, a pigment called astaxanthin is added to the pellets fed to the fish.
Part of the constituent part of salmon is a healthy dose of astaxanthin in the flesh that you eat, and it's not there by accident. It's nature's way of providing an important pigment which it would appear has a very profound effect on the viability of salmon ova. It is a pigment that nature has put there for a purpose, and one which, apart from appearance's sake, one we feel we should observe. We're as closely as possible replicating what nature does in the wild. So any talk of artificial dyes and all the rest of it is emotive and really unnecessary language.
The next test is to measure the fish's fat content.
We look towards a level of fat, around about 8 to 12% level of fat in the product. Not all of the fish that we produce is going to fall within that range, but at least we produce an analysis for the customer to let him see before he takes the fish, which may say that 80% of his fish are going to fall within the level of specification that he's asking for. 20% may not, and it's up to him then whether he takes the product or not. We certainly, as time goes on, do our best to fulfill the customer's requirements, but we're a long way off being able to define the product totally.
Though pigment to color the fish and drugs to treat its ills are added to salmon food, the main constituent of fish food is fish. It takes 5 tons of other species of fish to make the food, to feed the salmon, to produce 1 ton of marketable product.
We're taking low-valued industrial, so-called industrial species of fish, capelin, pollock, whatever they might be. Sand eels you've probably heard mentioned as well, being a possible constituent of salmon feed. But basically oily fish, by and large, that salmon would consume in the wild. But taking them, those low-value fish, and then converting them into something high-value, i.e. the salmon. And that's not the kind of thing that we should be doing more than a bit of. I mean, I have enjoyed being a salmon farmer, and enjoy being part of that, but what would interest me a great deal more is the idea of the management of the global fish farm. But at the moment we're in the throes of trying to industrialize a process which I don't think you can industrialize beyond a certain level. Growing salmon, any livestock for that matter, is a hands-on, green-fingered type of approach. it does not lend itself readily